Welcome to the Mortal Space Season Server Tour. Today we're going to be having a look at what the players have been building on the server, and I have to say there is some extremely amazing creations. This season is all about mobile grids, scrapping, and there is no mining at all on this server at all. So all the resources that these players have collected have been engaging and taking control of both Rex and AI grids. So it's been quite a challenging season, especially with numerous problems that the new AI update has included. So let's take a look around this RAB station. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is these little AI drones that are patrolling the perimeter. These are a great way of deterring offline raiders because they can quickly respond to ships within the perimeter and also help them when they're online as well. So you can see they've got this lovely towering structure, very modern, very futuristic, and they've got this cool little transport ship docked in this area over here. Just have a look at this. We've got an interior side door, we've got cargo storage, these lovely engine bay cells at the rear with these little wingtips, and we've also got thrusters. It looks like it's an ion and a hydrogen combination ship. And then as we go inside, these are the one static grid that they're allowed to use as a bit of a storage grid and a place to return to, like a bit of a home if they wish when they're not out there in their mobile grid. And then up here they have their mobile grid. This is Scrappy. So this is a very cool creation. It's a combination of both hangars, utility. It's everything that players need out there to survive, battle, and continue engaging. So we've got the grinders up on the top there. We've got a little bit of a bridge there above the grinders for while using them. We've got ion thrusters in that area, a little bit of a drop-down cockpit and observation area, and then we've got the main hangar. So the main hangar is currently empty because last night they went out on a mission to destroy one of the Warp Wreckers outposts and ended up using most of the fighters in that engagement. But you can see up here as well, they've got a cool little bridge, and with RAB designs, you know they're going to be very, very thorough and very, very server effective as well. So we've got a little bit of a docking pad on the side, and then it comes around the back with a bit of RAB branding, and we've got the rear thruster cell, a lovely ship. But also have a look at this docking clamp area here on their station. Isn't that cool? Very interesting indeed. So now we've arrived at our next location. This is the XTS facility. So they've got their storage grid underneath, and they've also got their mobile combat grid up here. And just have a look at some of the angles on this one. This is certainly beautiful as well. So we've got this long sort of hammerhead tip. We've got the station below it. But look at the curves within that armor. Weapons, of course, all over this grid. Some landing gears on the side to help it salvage some loot. You can see where it's been connected up and something's been a bit bumped into it. Or maybe it's been involved in a bit of a combat situation. We've got this bridge area over the top here, and we've got this large hangar bay docked within inside. So within inside here a bit further, you can also see there is this little pod right here, and this launches some sort of fighter vertically. Very cool indeed. You can see these various of these vertical launching fighters tucked in within here. So if we just have a look from above, you can see them hangars across the top there. Isn't that a cool idea? And then there's a main hangar for perhaps a cargo. You can see the XTS logos in this area, of course, with some nice little memes along the side. Coming to the back area here, we've got quite a functional area. It's just gyroscopes, batteries, and some internal thrusters. You've got to put the internal thrusters somewhere, and as we come to the back, we've got the hydrogen and the rest. Remember, this is a fully mobile grid with production and everything else they need. So coming towards the back here, they've got a mini looking Star Wars ship attached to the side. So this is acting as a large scale small grid fighter, and there's another one attached there as well. Very, very cool. Let's have a look at the station underneath. So first off, it's got these rings. It almost reminds me of like a 4G cell mast of some kind. And then below, it's got these lovely little bit of solar and interlaced 3x3 grids. Let's just have a quick look at the scale of this thing. So there's my little character in that area, and that's the scale of the station and the ship. Now our next stop is BRH. Now BRH have got quite a large mobile base. They did have some smaller grids as well, but sadly they have been destroyed. Now this mobile base has everything that they pretty much need to survive. They've got, what's this dock down here? Is this a little grinder or welder or even a transport ship? It's got various little adapters, and it's got some little doors at the front. What's behind these doors? So it looks like some sort of transport ship. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Transport ship with weapon racks. And then they've got access up here to a cockpit area. Very cool. I like the interior of that. It's very nice. So coming up to the actual ship itself, they've got these giant hangar doors. We'll rotate ourselves back around a little bit so we can have a look. And you can see they've been lit with them lovely neon glows that creates that Star Trek or Star Wars type like plasma door hanger or whatever it's called, where it's got like a force field. So inside here they've got various different fighters docked. They've got some smaller utility docked up on the other side, and then over here they have this lighting launch area that launches out and straight out the mouth of the ship. There's various little bridges around this, and there's also a centralized CIC. This is a really beautiful big ship. A lot of time has gone into this, but the only issue with it is they have yet to add any weapons to it because they were unsure of the weapon limit. But we've gone over it with them, so hopefully we'll see some weapons added to it, and then they'll be able to bring it to the battle next time we have one. So just a really fantastic ship, lots of lovely little details added to it in various different areas, added armor, ion thrusters. Let's have a look at that rear thrust pack as well while we're here. So a fully ion thrust pack with that lovely blue and black camouflage pattern. So just a quick stop by the DBS base. Now the DBS base is just a simple straightforward construction cube with everything they need on that static grid, but you can tell Unicorn has returned to the server because Fluffy once again has built them a unicorn. This one looks to be some sort of construction worker unicorn with a hard hat and tool case on the back, but still we all know when Fluffy's about with his giant unicorns. Look at this, isn't that cool? There's going to be loads of weapons, and from what I remember, when Unicorn would build these on the server, they always used to be quite deadly. So it looks like there is vent mesh. Oh, look at that. That is a deadly use of them conveyor meshes to hide some weapons. So when this comes out on the battlefield, if you spend any time laughing, or you know, you hesitate because it's a giant unicorn with a toolbox on its back, it could be the last time you see it. Now the next location we're at is the DKC York. This is another one of the players' mobile base, but this one belongs to Malric, one of our own moderators. And it has that very Star Trek-esque vibe going on with it. So if we just pan around here as everything loads in, them subgrids on the inside, there is a hangar located here to the rear. It's very stealthy though. And inside this hangar we have ourselves, I believe, a utility and a combat grid. So we've got this little cool combat fighter in there. And there is another grid somewhere inside here, but you can see there's a quite basic interior going on here, more functionality in the front. And then we've got this little hangar bay here, that's a drop down that looks like it holds a utility grid. Very cool. Let's continue on. So we're quickly stopping by GDE. GDE look like they have got a nice ship under construction here. It's yet to be finished though. This side looks like it's complete. I'm not sure if it's the front or the back, but they've still got another half perhaps to build of it. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. But let's continue on. So we're making a quick stop by OMF, and the main reason I wanted to show you this one is this really cool looking grinder ship up here. You can see it's a bit battered and bruised, but it's got these grinders spread out across the front here to salvage and scrap things down. And then they've just got the basic starter ship that all the players start with at the beginning, but they've slowly modified it just to keep them alive. And that's what was really interesting about the start of this season, having lots of these partially modified ships floating around looking like absolute pieces of scrap, I guess you could say. There's this cool little fighter that's been attached to here with railguns and other weapons designed to it. So it'll be interesting to see where OMF or Fortid goes with this design. Are they going to stay small and mobile like this, or are they going to try and build something a lot bigger? So another solo, Arid has also built this little grid here. Now it's not that little. You can see it's got that grinder tip at the top there, but it's absolutely battered. And I thought this was quite cool to show you, because taking some of these wrecks and dealing with some of the AI out there can be quite a battle, and you've really got to build your grids to a degree quite strong and resilient to deal with how accurate the AI can be with this new update. But having a look over here, we've got a cool little spoiler on the back there, almost making it like a sports grinder, if that's such a thing. And then we've got Arid's little temple-based base there. Very cool indeed. So we're just going to quickly pass by another solo base. So this is quite a compact design. It's got this like bug looking ship. It looks like a little hungry caterpillar. And then they've got their base down here as well. But there's quite a lot of solos this season. So it's interesting to see that these space seasons seem to appeal more to them. I guess they can just get out there and escape quite quickly into the abyss, that space around the centralized asteroid cluster. So it's a bit easier to survive. You can see that we've got some cool little fighter ships tucked in these areas. And it's going to be interesting to see how these solo bases develop, because it is a lot harder for a solo player to do all the scrapping, watch the back and cover all these angles while they're out there watching for the AI. Let's continue on. So next up we have MOP, and MOP have been quite hard at work battling some of the bugs that the latest update has introduced, with various blocks phasing and landing gears being a little bit more funky than usual. So they've got this cool mobile base grid here with various little hangars and connector ports, and there was some small grinder ships in here until this morning and everything decided to misbehave. But MOP have also got this really cool static grid over here that's really bright, it's almost blinding me. It's like a little triangle, so a cool little station grid there as well. So now we're over at NBS's Hidey Hole, and they are under, well, a very large construction project here. They've got a large grid and it looks like they've been printing it up in layers, still yet to finish it. But you can see they've been building it up ever so slowly. It's just because scrap and getting the scrap is harder to do, and building like this within a particular season is much harder because you kind of need that larger grid to go out and get the salvage that you need and protect the salvage that you've got. So having to bring the supplies back to here, process it, and then weld this up is probably going to be quite a time-consuming process this season. So we'll see how this one develops. So let's wrap this server tour up here. This is the final grid we're having a look at. This is RMF's Space Shuttle, and what was really funny about this is this showed up to an event a couple of days ago, and the thing doesn't have any weapons at all. So as you can see, well, it's got a hole in its left wing, and it's a little bit busted up. Hearing the screams from this player as well as they were getting shot at by warp reppers and pretty much tried to flee was quite a funny scenario. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Let us know in the comment section below which is the favourite grid, and would you be able to survive in a challenging season like this where there's no mining, only salvage.